from the guts of hell itself.
Trevor goes to the mausoleum, and after checking around, he finds a secret passage that leads to the aforementioned catacombs. And in there, he sees freshly oiled unlit torches and pipes running along the walls. He hears a noise and goes to check, only for the ground to give out. With a single step, he lands on his feet,
Reflexes like a cat.
but the floor gives out again, and this time he dies. He should at least break a few important things. That pipe he hits early in the fall would not help. He survives and the room suddenly lights up with electrical lamps, and we see weird statues just standing around, one of which is a speaker, meaning something petrified them, but didn't destroy her after, like he did with the other adventurers in the room. How convenient. As Trevor ponders the reason behind the statues, it shows up and takes its sweet time to attack.
Cyclops.
The Cyclops shoots a freaking laser beam from his eye, a laser that turns people and fabric to stone, but damages stone, and it didn't destroy the speaker. Luckily it misses her this time too. Trevor dodges and hides behind a pillar, and the monster goes after him.
Someone left a statue of a speaker.
Cyclops. Stone-eyed Cyclops. Right out of the family bestiary.
His outer monologues have been hit or miss, but now they are entirely veering into expository. They could have left all of that to the end, when he's talking to someone that doesn't know as much as he does. Doing that right now is just pointless. He dodges again and hides behind another pillar, but when he turns to look in the wrong direction, he can't find it. The creature that was on his left, that walks with steps so heavy it damages the room, and he loses it. Thanks to his ninja skills, it grabs him with its hand, that's about his size, and tosses him away instead of killing him on the spot. While he's down, it takes quite a bit of time to activate the laser. The creature apparently cannot multitask. What a worthless defense system. Trevor dodges again and goes on the offensive. Sadly, either the family bestiary needs thorough revision, or the writers made him forget how to kill one of these for a joke, because he throws the sword in its chest, presumably aiming for the heart, and the creature doesn't even flinch.
Come on! You're dead! Notice you're dead!
He then uses his whip to retrieve the sword, and slash the Cyclops upward in the face, to then release the sword into the air so he can jump on the speaker and kick it into the Cyclops' eye, while it gives up using the laser beam altogether. How convenient. If you want your character to be skilled or downright a master at a craft, don't make it so that the only reason they can exercise it is by warping reality around them. You are not a well-trained warrior if your survival is predicated entirely on your enemies being stupid. You're not badass for defeating toddlers. Moving on, killing the Cyclops turns the speaker back to normal, and oh my god...
Granddaughter. I wish speakers wouldn't do that.
What?
Dress the girls like boys.
It's safer when we travel.
The clothes are unisex at best, but makes sense. That doesn't explain the pronoun game though. The speaker, Cypher, still wants to find the soldier, but Trevor says it's all bullshit, in spite of the fact that there is still other areas to explore, and that monster was clearly protecting something, so might as well take a look. Cypher agrees with me, but Trevor convinces her to go see the other speakers at the very least, and off they go to find an exit, wherever that is, as the other victims finally depetrify. Man, how lucky you are. They arrive at the speaker house and everybody is happy, except Cypher, for failing the mission. But Trevor says they shouldn't bother, because either someone wanted to throw people, or that place is connected to Dracula's castle, since the lights and pipes match some of the descriptions from Belmont lore books.
Of the inside of Dracula's castle.
I don't know what's down there, but it's not a messiah.
That raises more questions, but I'll leave them for later. The Elder asks Trevor to stay and allow them to thank him, but Trevor reminds him that he's supposed to leave tonight.
Well, yes. Until then.
Right. I'll come back later.
Wasn't it before nightfall? Like, right now, while there is still sun?
I'll come back later.
There won't be a later, just leave.
I could pee in a bucket and tell him it's beer.
Safer.
On his way out, Trevor is surrounded by the priests that he somehow didn't see.
I don't.
Some of them are so visible he should have noticed from the moment he opened the door. Fucking ninjas everywhere. They take Trevor to talk to the bishop, and turns out he's our friend, the whispering one.
I am the Bishop of Greshit.
Trevor figures he's not from around here based on the fact that he's not panicking like the rest of the locals. In his imagination, because he didn't see anybody like that, so I don't know where he got that from, the whisper tells him that actually he's here to save Greshit, and this time he will do things his way, instead of the archbishop's. He wants to get rid of all the sin in the city, believing that will stop the horde, which was supposed to only mean disappearing the speakers, but now they have a member of an excommunicated family in the city, so he wants Trevor gone as well. But for some reason he simply tells Trevor to leave Greshit, or else they'll kill him, and Trevor is allowed to walk away with the possibility of the excommunication being lifted if he complies. This scene cemented the Whisperer's beliefs relatively well. You can see what he thinks of the Belmonts, the people of Greshit, the church, and primarily himself. It's not just a power trip, he truly believes in what he's saying. So I have to ask, why throw away the opportunity to kill the guy that already established a precedent of defending the same heretics that are the cause of all the chaos in the city? If he had brought Trevor here to convince him to follow his ways, I could buy it, but he didn't. He just told him to skip town. And now he's just letting Trevor go with concrete information about what he's going to do. He even employed apparent criminals to see his vision through. Just kill the Belmont. The fuck was the point beyond just letting him know?
Greshit will be the last major city in Wallachia. To all intents and purposes, I will be the judge.
I said relatively. His beliefs are explained, but it wasn't subtle. I was wearing a headset and I still missed some things he said.
Argovista is gone.
Do you understand?
Speak louder, you evil-looking prick. Obviously, Trevor tells the speakers, but they won't leave even in the face of death, for they will not give up on the people. Not just on their lives, but on their minds as well. They will stand their ground against the misguided beliefs the church has instilled on them.
War to stand up and be responsible, Trevor Belmont. You should leave now.
And you know what? That's a good scene. Characters don't repeat themselves and are consistent with what has been established so far. Although this would be a good moment to ask, what help were you guys offering exactly? When you arrived here, I mean? Were you guys healing the wounded? Rebuilding the houses? Could you not teach them how to defend themselves?
True speakers do not fight.
I ask because I feel like that would have given you a lot of favor with the locals.
We have no defenses, so of course Dracula's bastards come over the wall every night.
We carry with us the accumulated wisdom of this great country.
The extent of your knowledge is rather inconvenient. Trevor hesitates for a second, then, very menacingly, orders them to leave. He's not about to kill them, so I don't know why they did it this way. We cut to an extremely open area somewhere. The skies are darkening, the people are ready, and the demons are sunbathing. The sun is still setting. The light still shines upon the land. Why fucking bother to wait for nightfall? Why?
Because they're stupid.
And so they fly off to attack Greshit. They are really close to the city, actually. This will be funny. The people arrive at the speaker house and break down the door, only to find Batman standing inside. Trevor put all the speakers in the catacombs and stayed behind to try and convince the people to drop the bullshit, even though he expects to not achieve anything. He gives a speech to the priests that entered the house, showing he was finally convinced by the speakers and is now going to fight for the people, whether they like it or not.
I am Trevor Belmont, of the House of Belmont, and dying has never frightened me.
On isolation, I like this scene, but the show really doesn't help it. He puts his plan into motion. He disarms most of the priests using throwing knives, fucking Hawkeye, then tackles one of them outside while pulling a rope attached to the wall of the house that causes the area around the doorframe to crumble. It doesn't create much rubble, so the priests should be able to just walk over it, but that takes them out of the game anyway. Trevor then uses the whip to steal an axe and throws it at the top of a building, specifically at a rope that keeps a big cross in place, dropping it on the mob and forcing them to move out of the way, opening a path for him. It's a good thing that they didn't decide to gang up on him right off the bat, and not a single person tripped while trying to run in the middle of a panicked crowd. So much for fighting for them. He runs over the cross and steals a torch halfway through, then runs into a street while the mob follows him. He turns into another street, only to turn back when the crowd enters, and lights a puddle of oil that I assume he put there without the priests or anyone noticing it, even though they didn't want the speakers to leave, so having someone to watch would be ideal. The fire stops 7 of them in their tracks, while the rest of the population goes into another dimension to learn what shortcut getting ahead and cutting off means. The next step in the plan is running into 2 Usher priests on top of some buildings and then being surrounded by 2 priests on one side and the one priest with a knife on the other. All 5 were not near the speaker house to know where he was going, so this is just a sad little accident. He kills all of them because the concept of dogpiling and shooting when one of yours is not in the middle of a melee fight are foreign concepts to these people. Then the next part of the plan is running to the crowd by mistake and starting the chase again. Where he will run to, I don't know yet, nor do I know what he's planning to do to convince the crowd, since the episode ends with a panning shot of the mob running through the streets as demons fly over and see the lights of the torches. How is that helping anybody? It isn't. What a fucking worthless speech. Everything should be over, but I somehow doubt that they will just allow the demons to carpet bomb Greshit, which is what they should be able to do. So the next episode should be extremely funny.